Hey everyone, welcome to our weekly talk. Now that you have had a day of hustling, grinding, making moves, you are now ready to sit down and just take a minute, breathe, and have a nice little chat. So grab a glass of wine or your favorite drink and let's chat for a few minutes. If you don't know me by now, again, my name is Tamika Michelle Johnson AKA the Matchmaking Attorney and founder of Platinum Connections, an exclusive matchmaking agency for successful professionals. So, any of you that know my life, it's been kind of crazy these last few months. Our nanny left us in the middle of December and a little bit prematurely. So, I have been pretty much on full time mommy mode for the last 2.5 months. And it's been crazy with the boys, of course, who are 3 and 2, and trying to have family time and trying to work, trying to hustle on my own, get things done with the launch of the magazine, taking on more clients with Platinum Connections. It's been crazy. So we finally made the decision to have our boys enroll into daycare on a part-time basis, 3 days a week. So I can still have some time with them during the week, and they're not in daycare the majority of the time, which is amazing, which I love that I have the flexibility to do. But it's been crazy. So, but they are in daycare now. So yay me. So yeah, things are good. The weather is nice and all of that. So with all of that going on, so last week the boys started daycare, and on day 2, I was like, okay, let's kind of like woosah. So I was finishing up the magazine, which came out a couple days ago. So I went to the New Black Wall Street, which is out here in the Atlanta area, the Stonecrest area. And I went in and just got a table by a little coffee shop, got a cup of coffee, and was just kind of working because I can work, but I like different people around me. I just like to be able to stop and look and just people watch and all that and meet different people. So I went out there to do the magazine. Great place. If you haven't been, definitely check out the New Black Wall Street out in Stonecrest. So I was there, and my daughter actually happened to be working that same day at the mall, the Stonecrest Mall, which is actually across the street. So I was there working. I, texted her, was like, hey, do you want to grab lunch after you get off of work? So she was like, yeah, sure, fine. So again, I love the flexibility of being able to do that, being able to do kind of impromptu things. So life is good. So after she got off of work and after I was working for a few hours across the street, we met at a restaurant by the mall. And so we're just kind of just talking and chatting. And my daughter says to me, like halfway, I guess we're waiting for our food. She's like, so I met a boy. And I was like, no, but it's part of life. So I guess it's because like you want your kids to be in healthy, nice relationships, but you also know that there's a learning curve and process, and then it could just be just heart-wrenching sometimes. So and she tells me she met a boy, and I was like, okay, so tell me more, like how did you meet him? And she said she met him online. And my first reaction, because my daughter is 19, I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, online. Like I'm thinking, like, shouldn't you guys be meeting people like in person? You go to college and be social like that. But this is just the times that we live in. Everyone just they meet people online. This younger generation, that they're just so accustomed to doing everything online, socially. So I asked her what site she was on, and she was like, on Tinder. And I was like, Tinder. I remember using Tinder some years and years ago. I don't think I ever met anybody on there, but I guess I'm thinking like in my mind, there's older people. But that was like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago when I was on there, maybe a little bit longer. So, but I guess, younger people are on there as well. They're on different dating apps. And she was telling me about different dating apps as well. It's a very interesting conversation. So she said, anyway, she was telling me she met a boy, and, he was in college. And I was like, okay, cool. She showed me a picture of him. And so I, just kind of started, the matchmaker in me, the coaching part in me as far as dating kind of kicked in. And so it was like, okay, we need to have a conversation, and I need to tell you some of the same things that I tell clients and women that I do consults with. You know how to go about this dating thing. So you're very, very clear that, listen, okay, that's cool that you met someone on Tinder or online or wherever it is that you met. And I know you probably like them. You must like them because you told me about them. But now you've got to go back and you need to go meet some more people, more guys, because, you know, I can tell you from experience, from being your age and, you know, all the ages in between, that we as women, you know, especially women, we, you know, you connect with a lot of people. You can connect with a lot of people online or in person. And a lot of times you just kind of gravitate towards the one that you like the most. And you put all of your attention into that person, foregoing all other opportunities or possibilities. And the guy has not done that, because until, again, you are in an exclusive relationship, everyone's free to kind of do whatever they want to do, especially if you first met. And so, you know, I was just kind of reiterating that. Just, you know, make sure, you know, be safe. You know, just kind of let me know where you are at all times. It's fine to date, not to be, and even though you should be meeting other people, not to sleep with these people. You don't want to do that until you are in an exclusive relationship, especially at that age, or close to it. So just give it some time. You know, I always say give it, you know, at least, you know, 6 months. I mean, just to really get to know someone, because at the same time, you should be dating other people, getting to know them as well, so they can show up for you to see if you're even compatible, if this person's even worthy to be in your world or in your space. So I'm telling her that, just giving her, you know, get some of the same tips and advice that I give to all women. But it really kind of made me think about something I spoke about some months ago, sometime last year. Is about like having these conversations with our sons, with our daughters, with our nieces, nephews, grandchildren, whoever it is, goddaughters, godsons, whoever it may be. When you reach my age or older, 40 or so, you have some experience in dating. But a lot of times you have not gotten it right. There's so many women, especially successful women, you know, the perfect on paper, 40, 50, 60, have either never been married or haven't been married in a really long time. And it's not because they don't want to, it's not because they're not dating, it's because they're just not making those connections with people that they want to be with, and it's not mutual. We are not taught how to be in relationships. From the time that we are very young, we're not taught, especially as girls, to be in relationships. And again, I've spoken about this before, but if you haven't seen those videos, I'm just gonna kind of reiterate it, is that little girls are taught to not be fast, not be easy, keep your legs closed, don't be a hoe, get good grades, get good jobs. And we're also taught that when you do these things, you will get married and you will have kids and you will have a family. But no one tells us how that actually works. No one tells us how to actually connect with partners, how to emotionally connect. On the other side, again, I've said before that boys are taught, if you do like someone, you do care for someone, you're a provider, you're a protector, you open doors for them, shower someone with gifts. They're taught a little bit more about how to be in relationships than girls are. We're just kind of expected to know, and we don't. We know what it looks like on the outside, right? Traditionally, it was, you know, your wife, you have children, you're a mother, you cook, you clean, kind of the manager of the house, the supervisor of the house. but we're not taught how to connect. And then so many people get together from broken homes, and they get together with other people who are from broken homes, and they've not taken the time to figure out what a good, healthy relationship is supposed to look like. There are some people who've never met their father, or if they didn't meet them till they were older, or maybe only had a few interactions with them growing up. That is devastating for a child. It's devastating for a child to not have seen their biological parents interact, or not necessarily their biological parents or their adoptive parents, to not see them really interact. And that's hard. It's hard to go through that and then expect to know how to be in a relationship, and it is not that innate. We know what it's supposed to look like. We have all these visions in our head. We have all these ideas of what it's supposed to look like. It usually doesn't end up that way. It doesn't. We're two different beings from two different environments, from two different homes coming together. My father didn't meet his father until he was in his 20s. My mother only had a few interactions with her biological father in her whole life. And they got together, and they had my brother and myself. But neither one of them had ever seen a good relationship, a healthy relationship, not growing up. And so they came together on those similarities, right? Similar past and upbringings. They both grew up in the country. They both had to work in fields. They both, picked cotton, that kind of thing. Hard workers. They both saved. They met in college. But they never seen a healthy relationship. And if you don't work on it and you're not conscious of it, your kids don't know what it looks like, even if you're together. Even if you're together. I'll never forget what my father said one time. I was in college. I graduated from college, I believe, at this point. And he just said, how do you expect to get a husband if you don't know how to cook? I was like, I know we talked about this when I had Lori on a few weeks ago. I know how to cook. You may not have seen me cook. I know how to cook. But I thought it was very interesting that he said that. So that was my role, right? I was supposed to go to college. I was supposed to get a degree. I was supposed to get a good job. And I'm supposed to get a husband now. I'm supposed to know how to cook, apparently, and clean and all those other things. Question: how do I get a husband? How do I like meet that person or a person to marry? How does that happen? How does that work? How do I get them, right? Nobody tells you that. They don't tell you that unless you're really conscious about learning that beforehand. We should be teaching our sons, our daughters, our nieces, our nephews, all the little girls and boys that we are role models to. Teaching them how to be a good man for a woman, or a good woman for a man, if you so desire to get married and have kids and have a family and all that. My daughter's father and I weren't together, but we definitely had a very cordial relationship. So super, super cool. But she didn't get to experience mom and dad in the same home. And then I was in, as you know, many of you know, the long-term relationship, a 10-year relationship in my 30s. And that relationship was unhealthy. There was a lot of, makeup, breakups, on again, off again. And she was subject to that. She didn't really get to experience like I would have wanted her to, a home like I was raised in with a mother and father. Even though it was not perfect, she didn't get to see that. And I didn't talk to her about what she should do, how she should date and all of that. Same thing, I was, don't have sex with people. Listen, these kids, they're going to do what they want to do in that realm. And that's the easy part, right? To learn that, but how to emotionally connect and to have a healthy relationship that lasts, that's not taught. And so now, I am, as my daughter's starting to date and she's going out more, I have to tell her, it's my job to inform her how to date correctly. Now, we have not gotten to other parts yet. Bedroom skills, like that's the thing. We should be talking to both men and women, girls and boys, should I say, about what they should be doing in order to please their partner. It is not a one size fits all because everyone is different. It's a matter of being open and learning your partner. And it's a whole another conversation. And I always say, women are not as great in bed as they think they are. Just because, you may have been abstinent for a certain period of time does not make it great sex when you finally do connect with someone. Again, that's a whole other conversation for another day. But those are the things that we should be talking about with our kids. And we don't want to, because we don't want to feel like we're encouraging them to get involved with someone. But I can tell you this. I grew up in a predominantly white area. In elementary school, I was the only black girl, only black kid in the whole school. So about 5th grade, I think there was a brother and sister that were like a year behind me. It was like 3 of us in the whole school for that year. In middle school, we probably had like 5 black kids when I went in the whole school. High school, we had like 10, maybe 15 black kids in the whole school. And so I grew up with a lot of white people, so I'm very, very comfortable in most situations. Professionally, I deal with a mix of people, predominantly whites, but it's a mix. So I'm comfortable with pretty much most people. But I'll say this. Relationships are viewed a little bit different in white households than they are in black households, and probably a lot of other minority households. Relationships are expected and they're open, and it's okay to have boyfriends at a very young age and girlfriends at a very young age. And the parents are involved in those relationships to an extent, and it's open. And so they learn how to be in relationships at a younger age. And my household, I didn't feel that. And in many other black households as well. You're in high school, boyfriend. What's your boyfriend? It's looked down upon. You almost were kind of shamed. And you got that talk. Don't sleep with them if you're a girl. And if you're a boy, use protection. It's different. To an extent, I felt like I had to hide anyone that I liked growing up because I felt like it wasn't accepted. If you learn, or if you teach your kids how to have relationships at a younger age, the chances are that they'll have a more successful relationship, marriage when they get older. And they'll do it at a younger age because they will have figured it out at a younger age. And that's not to say that divorces don't happen, but I got the stats the other week, how 70 more Black Americans are single or have never been married than our white counterparts. There's something to that. It's important to talk to our kids. You want them to see a healthy relationship. If you are a woman who is single, who is dating, who is in a healthy relationship, in a situationship, and you have sons, or a son, they see that. They see that they can get away with certain things as a male, treating women. If they see you tolerating um, some things that you think would be unacceptable. You can't expect him to be your sons to be great men treating women correctly if they see how your partner, who's supposed to be your partner, treats you in and out, off and on, unhealthy, not there when they should be, inconsistent. They're going to treat their women that they're dating the same way because they see that you've accepted it and it must be okay. Same thing for our girls. On again, off again. So many of us that we know, again, done well financially. They see us paying the bills, so they think they're supposed to pay the bills. That's another conversation for another day. But they emulate what they see. Got to start early having those conversations. How to date, how to be in relationships. Fathers, talk to your daughters about how a man is supposed to treat her, and intimately, in all aspects, all arenas, how to emotionally connect, especially if you want them to get with a man similar to you. You have to tell her, show her what it is that captivates you, what it is that draws you in. What is it that a woman should do in order to get his heart and his attention? Talk to your daughters about that. I was saying the other week how my daughter saw her dad over Christmas. He came up to go to visit her and his other son. He's talking to his son. Hey, you like any girls? If you do, you got to treat them nice. Take them out. Don't go too fast. Don't rush. But you got to treat them nice. Call them. Says to my daughter, you can't date till you're 50. It was all in jest, but it wasn't at the same time because he didn't tell her what needs to be done. What is it that grabs his attention? And it's not just the physical. He talks to her about that, but it's more than that. Have those discussions. I can only have certain discussions with her from my perspective. It is vital that fathers are having those discussions with daughters. The same thing with mothers and sons. What kind of man do you want to be with? Are you showing your son that there are certain standards and principles that they need to live up to have a good quality woman? What is it that captivates you? Are you sitting down and telling him that? There's more likely than not, more mothers have those conversations with their sons, more fathers have those conversations with their sons than those conversations are happening with girls and their daughters. There is a little bit more guidance when it comes to our men. We've got to teach our daughters because now we have women who are 35, 40, 45, 60, who have never been married and still don't know what it takes to connect to a man, still don't know how to draw a man in. Never been taught. And sometimes just a little too stubborn to sit down and ask for help, to reach out to someone. The magazine, the March issue of the magazine, Platinum magazine, dropped the March issue. Check it out if you haven't. It's on the website, myplatinumconnections.com or platinummagazine.online. Great articles. I started talking about the cover feature. I didn't know it was going to be a cover. I feel the covers, right? I never know what it's going to be until I kind of look at everything that I have. And it was Myron Shane, the type of love that your soul desires. It wasn't physical. They were really good friends for years. Were in a relationship, broke up, in other relationships. Um, and there wasn't an appreciation until going through a bad relationship of what they were. Myra's 5'9", Shane is 5'4". Beautiful couple. Oh my gosh, the love in that relationship is amazing that I saw. But it's not necessarily something that we visualize, right, as ladies. We have a certain physical image that we look at, that we have in our heads that we want our men to abide by or look like. A lot of times it doesn't happen. It's about what's in here. I'm pointing to my heart. It's what's in here. It's what's in your heart. That matters. Who makes you laugh? Who you have a good time with? Who makes life fun? Coach Reg, there's a part 2 of his interview from the February issue. Are you in a real relationship? Great article about exclusively dating versus exclusivity in that paradigm. It's a good discussion about that. And toxic relationships, especially successful women being in toxic relationships, how it happens. The importance of getting coached in relationships. He's a relationship coach. Great coach, though. If you're ever feeling like, you know what, I just need to kind of get over this hump. I need to do better. Reach out to him. If you don't know how to reach out to him, reach out to me. I'll get you in contact with him. But his information is in the article. Just definitely check out the article. Great article. I also talk about situationships. There's an article about situationships in there. Are you in one? How do you identify one? If you are, how to get out? How many times have you or someone that you know has been in a situationship for years, not going anywhere? Don't want to leave because you're scared. It happens too often. There's a way to get out of it, and there's a way to meet the ones that are worthy of you. And I say ones because there's not just one. Check it out on the website. So that's going to be it. I went a little bit over, longer than I thought today. I always do, don't I? I usually try to make it between like 15, 20 minutes, usually like 25, 30. But yeah, check out the article. I always say book a information session if you want to know more about our services, prices, prospects, process, all of that, how it works. It is a complimentary session, just to kind of get a feel for what we do. And then if you want to go further, there's another step after that. But you can always book that information session. Again, myplatinumconnections.com. And until next time, just really think about the women, the girls, the young women, young girls in your life, and think about the conversations that you're going to have with them about connecting with men or partners along the way. Again, a lot of mothers and fathers have these conversations with their sons, continuous conversations. But, you know, for those of you that don't have those conversations, the relationship that you have right now, if you're in one, is the type of relationship that you want your kids in. And if you're not in a relationship, how do you get over that hump? How do you get to the relationship that you want to be in? How do you get into the relationship that you truly deserve? What steps are you going to take to change it? What steps are you going to take so you're not in this situation a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now? How do we make sure that you're part of the statistic? How do we increase your chances, should I say, of being part of the statistic of being married? Yeah, talk to your girls. Talk to your kids. That's something we look forward to, right? Now I'm like, okay, now I gotta get it. I talk to my daughter a little bit more about this relationship thing, and make sure that she's still on the apps or however she's meeting people. Make sure she's meeting more people, talking to different people, getting to know how people are before she just stops and just focuses on one person. that she met a few weeks ago. Exploring your options. So until next time, have a great week. I'm sure it will be productive. If you want some tips, in the magazine, there's an article about authorship, Pathway to Financial Freedom, by Shar Halliburton. Check that out. If you've been wanting to write a book, don't know if you have a book in you, I think that you do have one in you, but don't know how to get it out, check the article out. Check out her information as well. Until next time, have a great week. Be productive. Continue making moves, money, hustling, grinding. You know how we are. And and one more thing. I posted last week, I'll be moderating a panel at the Women in Payment Symposium in April 5th is when it is. The symposium is from the 4th to the 5th in Arlington, Virginia. It's going to be a great conference. I may have already mentioned it, but if you are in the financial industry, if you're a C-suite executive, women, females, although it's open to everyone, want some information about that, great place to attend. But my session that I'll be moderating is about Power Up, the blueprint for Power Women. We'll be talking about how to navigate your life as a successful professional, as well as your personal life with love, relationships, children, marriage, all that, balancing and navigating that. You can go to, again, Women in Payments. Go to the website, womeninpayments.org, and register there. There's events all over the world, literally, though. It's an international organization. So do that. And I'll see you next week. Don't forget to visit the website, www.myplatinumconnections.com. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.